The Vikings, led by J.J. McCarthy, will welcome the Dirty Birds of Atlanta, led by Michael Penix Jr. Michael Penix Jr. Will the Vikings defense be able to contain the stallion that is Bijan Robinson? Or will KOC's offense, sparked by Jettas and, oh, what a feeling, Thielen, cause a long, hard night for Falcons head coach Raheem Morris? It's week 2. It's the Falcons and Vikings at US Bank Stadium. Hey, Justin Jefferson, how are you feeling about playing at home?
It's going to be special, man. I mean, our fans are definitely one of the top, if not the top, fan base in the league. That loud noise, and then it's Sunday night, first home game back, having JJ in there for the first time. Of course, having 19 in there for the first time back. So juice is gonna be flowing for sure.
Thanks, Jettas. And here are the fellas.
Good evening, everybody. Oh, a little slip up, I guess, in the copy for that open, but all good in the neighborhood. Michael Penix Jr. and the Atlanta Falcons will be at US Bank Stadium on Sunday night, and we will break this all down with you. Tony Bell is with us in the top right-hand corner. Tony, what's going on?
Depending on how the game ends on Sunday, I might be single.
Tony's lovely girlfriend, she is a diehard Falcons fan, so this will be an interesting time for Tony.
We love each other up until kickoff. Kickoff, the name calling starts, and we start bashing teams. But this is like the third year in a row we've played these guys.
Yeah, it's almost like they're a division opponent now. Yeah. It's like we seem to play them every year.
And me and her are still together, so I guess everything is good. I mean,
love is strong. Love is strong, and that's key. That is key. Bottom right.
We have equal love because we hate the Packers.
Bottom right-hand corner. Also from the great state of Minnesota, Sir Purple himself, Bill Dunkel. How are you, sir?
Good. How is everybody?
We are good. We're ready to roll. Exciting times indeed. The question we have up on our page, please, it's an easy one, and we'll all go around and answer this. And it's a very simple one. Who is your favorite Minnesota Vikings quarterback of all time, and why? So, Tony Bell, it's a shame because if Torrey Holt was with us, I will speak on Torrey's behalf.
Minivan.
That would have been Kirk Cousins.
The quarterback who shall remain nameless.
But Tony Bell, I think I know who your favorite quarterback is. We've done this show enough where I could guess it, but let us all know. And basically, why is he your favorite quarterback of all time?
Honestly, it's Joe Cap, because he wasn't really a quarterback. He was more like a fullback and quarterback, playing a quarterback's position. But he had the leadership. Those guys, they would go through a brick wall for him. I say if he sticks around in 70 or 71, we probably win one of those Super Bowls.
He was a winner, right? That's what we're kind of attaching with J.J. McCarthy.
I see a lot of that in J.J.
Joe Cap, not the prettiest throws ever, but you know what? The ball got there.
Couldn't go a spiral if his life depended on it, but they got to where they were going. But yeah, he had that leadership role,
Joe was never afraid. And if even one of his own teammates crossed him, he would deal with it like a man, and they would go fisticuffs after a game. That was Joe Cap. He was a guy that they certainly followed, and maybe I don't know if we could argue it, but probably the most popular Viking quarterback all time through his teammates. And, that's what JJ is going to try to become now. Sir Purple Encyclopedia, Bill Dunkel. I think I know who yours is too, and it's pretty much for obvious reasons, but go ahead and tell our audience, and hopefully they'll respond with their own and why. Who's your favorite Minnesota Vikings quarterback and why?
Well, it's the greatest one in franchise history, the one they've never been able to replace, Sir Francis. And that's what made me not only a Vikings fan and NFL fan, was solely him. And first memory of him is 72 opener, Monday Night Football against the Redskins. And then somehow I don't remember anything else. Still 74. And, his scrambling, his size. And I think I think Joe Cap is a better leader. There's no question. Fran's a better quarterback. Fran led him to 3 Super Bowls. And Fran and Chuck were like this. They just met. They were perfect for each other. And then
Like
with
peanut butter
Jerry
and jelly,
Burns.
though.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
with Jerry Burns. I don't think. I mean, Chuck needed Fran, and Fran needed Chuck. And then you had Burns's mind, and it was just perfect because Fran didn't have the strongest of arms. He didn't have a strong arm, and but it was just he was smart. And I think because I was a small kid, I think that's another reason. So I mean, yeah, we have not replaced him, and we haven't had, in my opinion, a quarterback since him. We've tried, but injuries of Dante would have been the guy if he wouldn't have
I
got
think
hurt.
Dante would have been the guy.
Dante was the guy until he severely hurt.
Dante had the size, but
Carolina.
Dante just was not the smartest bulb.
It's funny what Tony said is
Thing
it's you hear this theory, and I think Tony and I have discussed this before. They win a Super Bowl with Cap, right? In 70 or 71, or even both, maybe. What happens if they don't trade Fran? But the problem is that team was kind of rebuilt through that trade, correct, TB?
To a point, Fran.
To a point. I mean, Fran and Norm. It's just too bad Norm. It's too bad Bud. I'll just say this: it's too bad Bud didn't get the job in '61.
No, But here's the thing, though. People don't know this. When Bud took the job in '67, he wanted to keep Fran.
Yeah.
Fran had already had it in his mind that he was going to go to New York and turn New York around, make the Giants a winner, and also take eyes off of Joe Namath.
Yep.
Well, and also you could look at it even then at that point in time too, Bill and Tony, and I have some familiarity with Fran because his agent was friends with my mom, and it was also a lucrative deal for Fran to get to New York City for sponsorship and to make money off the field, and that, as we well know, for many athletes, is very, very important.
Yeah.
And they didn't
New York was
money back.
New York was the entertainment hub then, like New York and LA.
Right.
So if you wanted to get the endorsements, you had to go to either coast to get it.
And everyone was jealous of Joe Namath with all of the money he was making.
Yeah.
So
let's just say one more thing on Fran. Well, quickly, Bud Grant, after they lost in '71, he finally realized they need a quarterback. Because, like Tony has said, for 2 years. That defense played out of their minds, and they lost in the playoffs. Why? Gary Quazzo, Bob Lee. Do I need to continue? I mean, so he said, I remember in the interview says it all. He said, I felt Fran was the best quarterback in the NFL at that time, and we went out and got him.
Fran also wanted out of New York at the time.
Yeah, so it was the perfect. Perfect.
Well, they were losing; they were still bad.
Yep.
I mean,
he wanted out because people don't know this either. Fran retired in the preseason of '71. Fran walked out of the Giants. He went back because, what happened was the two quarterbacks they had, one got hurt, and I think the other one just straight up quit. So
should have got him in '71.
And so Fran went back, finished out his contract, and then they had talked about trading him. He said, he put it out there, I'll go back to Minnesota because I already know the system and Bud, and perfect. He still had teammates here. So, and we didn't give up at the time. It seemed like a lot, but it wasn't much to give. We only gave up Bob Grimm, Norm Snead.
Yep.
And if I were to ask you this question, just to base that off of what Fran was even then, because he was a trendsetter, nobody really saw a quarterback like Fran at the time, and we all know his run-ins with Norm Van Brocklin, who didn't think he could win with a quarterback like Fran, and how he negotiated a pocket and ran everywhere. It would be amazing, right, gentlemen, if you saw Fran in today's game and with Chuck Foreman. I mean, those two would be gigantic in today's game, I think, without question.
Oh, yeah.
But then again, I think a lot of the quarterbacks that we're talking about probably would have loved to have played in today's games because they're
any of those quarterbacks that played in the 70s and 80s that were just marginal. They would have been superstars and put up a ton of stats in today's NFL.
Yeah. Look at Joe Namath. He threw more interceptions than touchdowns.
Yeah.
You can only imagine what it would have been like this.
He's in the hall because of Super Bowl.
He's in the hall because of one game.
Right.
I could be remiss on one thing, though. Culpepper would have been the guy, but Tommy Kramer would have been the guy. Also injuries. So first Tommy, then Dante. So, I mean, Tommy Kramer, to me, was the perfect also the perfect
And
one.
that is
if you
and
wouldn't
that
have had the
leads me-
injuries.
That leads me into my favorite quarterback. And why? Because Tommy is the guy that I hope that we're going to see develop with JJ. And if he just stayed healthy, there was no game out of reach for Tommy Kramer. He proved it to the San Francisco
had a gun.
49ers when he came on and as a youngster and threw 4 touchdown passes. And he did it again to the 49ers a couple years later. And he, of course, did it where my dad ran around in his underwear, which then made Tommy Kramer my favorite quarterback when he did it on the infamous Metropolitan Miracle, so to speak, the one-handed Ahmad Rashad catch with no time, giving the Minnesota Vikings the NFC Central championship against that very, very good Cleveland Browns team. So Tommy Kramer, 2-minute Tommy, definitely my favorite.
Solid choice.
You know what NFL coach was on the field for the Browns on that play?
Was it Sam Rutigliano?
No, NFL.
Marty Schottenheimer was on that staff too.
No, but he was playing.
Oh, playing. Okay.
Oh, for the Browns?
Yeah.
Was Bill Cowher? No.
Yep.
Yeah, Bill Cowher.
Bill Cowher was playing linebacker.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
That Browns team was very good.
That year they put it together.
They really did. They kind of got screwed
Brian
up.
Sipe had Brian Sipe.
Yeah.
The
cardiac kid.
Too many. That one pass too many. Against the Raiders.
Well, and Don Cockcroft, I don't think they had too much faith in him.
No, they didn't. He had missed already, I think, 2 kicks in that game, right? He was horrible.
He was like one of the last of the straight-on kickers, and they still had him.
Yeah, they had no confidence in him. Well, that's the question that we are asking you. Feel free to add comments. We'll read them here on the show as you do so. Who is your favorite Minnesota Viking quarterback and why? Our beloved Minnesota Vikings on Sunday night. NBC Sports, Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth will be doing the call. And as we transition into our purple headlines here, it's amazing, gentlemen. Not that I'm surprised by it, but the ratings came in for the NFL for week 1, and CBS is reporting it is the highest viewership that they have had to kick off an opening weekend. And they also drew huge ratings for the Ravens and Bills. It's record-setting. The one interesting part of it is, and I don't know if you two gentlemen have YouTube or not, but apparently, though, YouTube, which is, of course, took over for DirecTV, suffered some viewership decline, which is interesting. So I don't know if the 4 screens is working for some people or what, or they just don't like the product since it's left DirecTV. And, of course, the Red Zone has since moved. So there could be a bunch of reasons for that. We know how popular the Red Zone is now that it's being operated by.
I will, because I'm able to watch all the games. I will watch, like last Sunday, I watched the Tampa Bay Falcons game, and I had the Red Zone on. I had 2 screens up. One was the Falcons game. The other one was a Red Zone. I think that's how a lot of people do it. I even do that for Viking games.
Yeah, I can see that. I could see that being a reason too. And again, fantasy sports, people are flipping around, or they're watching particular games because of the players that they have in it. And maybe
don't forget the gambling too. There's a lot of people out there putting money on games.
Watching for gambling, watching for various reasons, overs, unders. We'll talk about that in a little bit inside the numbers in a minute on this game in particular. And headlines: the Vikings have a new linebacker. I'm just trying to pronounce his name properly, and if I butcher this, I'm sorry.
Sione Takitaki?
Yes, Takitaki. I love the name though. Takitaki. I mean, I can see this being Paul Allen's go-to guy if he does well.
Oh, he's going to butcher it beyond belief.
Taki.
He's going to have a new nickname for him, and it's going to be the most annoying name. Just call him by his name, okay?
So Sione is as a Vikings uniform. They will be wearing the throwbacks on Sunday night, which is exciting. We'll get to that in just a moment. KOC, though, kind of gave us a reason why Taki's on the roster, because he happened to say this at his presser today.
All right, game status updates for some guys. We're going to go ahead and rule both Jeff Okudah and Andrew Van Ginkel out for the football game. They're both doing well and progressing through the protocol, but just protocols in place for a reason, and anticipate those guys continuing on that upward trajectory into early next week, and I'll update you guys on them at that point. Christian Darrisaw will also be ruled out for the game. Continues to do so many great things in his progression back, but he will not be up for this week's game. And then Harrison Smith, we'll see how he handled the workload today, and what that looks like for him. He'll go in questionable.
So, gentlemen, that Andrew Van Ginkel name is the one that surprised me. I don't know when it happened or how it happened, but
I saw it happen.
And I don't want to take away a tease that's coming up, but in Tony's X's and O's, he's going to discuss what the Vikings are going to do or what's going to happen to replace Andrew, because I don't think Taki is going to necessarily take that position.
Taki he's more of an inside backer.
Yeah.
I know he was. I think he was inside and outside, and he was with the Browns for a minute, and I think he played both inside.
Played with the Patriots last year vaguely. I think for a little while.
Yeah,
Patriots and now the Vikings.
I did see Van Ginkel get hurt, and if anybody's wondering, Okudah and Van Ginkel are on concussion protocol. Van Ginkel got upended on a play Monday night, and that he landed on his head. It looked really bad. So him being in concussion, it doesn't surprise me. He still played, but it was, you got to take precautions in the NFL, especially with head injuries. So you're down 2 linebackers now. Not only is Van Ginkel out, but also Blake Cashman is now out. And Jeff Okudah, I don't know when he got hurt, but he's in concussion protocol.
Last play of the game.
Yeah.
Was that him that got hurt on the last
play of the game? Into his own. I'm not quite sure who he
in that scrum.
Yeah, last play of the game.
Okay. So and it will happen. So he's out. We're already thin at cornerback. That's a little scary.
Well, then Dwight's being moved. Dwight's got to be moved up, right? I think I heard Flores say that earlier in the week.
I would think so.
I think McLeod will move up too. Here's another thing too. If we're out of linebackers, wouldn't we move up Gabe Murphy?
Yeah, I'd have no problem with it.
You would think. I mean, you would think that would be the case. No, I think Taki is going to be the guy that's going to see some time inside, and obviously special teams and so forth. And we'll get into who they're going to replace Van Ginkel with, which Tony will discuss.
Let me ask you: would they even, because Robinson's bigger, the running back? Here's the problem, and Tony can answer. He knows more about this than I do. And dressing guys, it's actually 2 guys. My guy Taki Tom, I can't pronounce his last name.
Takiyami.
Okay, PA.
and Elijah Williams. I mean,
Williams would be back. Yeah,
Taki would be great against the run. They need that. The bigger guy in there. Atlanta's got the bigger back. So I mean, what do we do with Elijah first?
Tayami would play. Taki Tayami.
Yeah, I like.
He would play. He would be there. Also, so would Levi Drake Rodriguez, who played pretty well Monday night. So there's your 2 big guys, and you still got Hargrave and you still got Allen. So you can.
How about Elijah
and Williams? I think Williams will be back this week. I do.
Williams will be healthy, but he could be inactive because he get caught up in numbers.
Another week.
Numbers.
I mean, it's a possibility.
It would be a numbers game, but if you've got the rotation of Ingram Dawkins played pretty well Monday.
I thought he looked very good.
He did.
When he was
so
he did.
If I'm Flores, I've got this, week 1, I got a pretty good cast of defensive linemen. My linebackers are a little thin, but with the way that the Vikings line up, which I'll just put it out there in case anybody didn't notice on Monday night, Dallas Turner lined up at defensive end in a 3-point stance.
He did.
Yeah.
They had 3 guys. They had 3 outside.
Yes.
Grenard, they had Van Ginkel, and they had
Turner.
Dallas
Turner
at the same
on the
time.
field. Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's exciting. There's a whole and that's what Flores likes. He loves to keep you in the lurch, keep you guessing where they're going to line up and who's coming where and why. And don't forget this too, Bill and Tony, the fact that the Vikings like to use their safeties a lot as linebackers. Metellus can come up. Take some. Jay Ward has actually played really well according to PFF last week, and so you might see these guys slip in linebacker positions. So that will take some of this, Van Ginkel missing a week.
One thing that's going to be different, and everybody should pay attention to this: you're facing a left-handed quarterback. That changes your defensive scheme altogether.
It does, and we know the Vikings have a hard time adjusting. They certainly don't like mobile quarterbacks, Bill. Right, and then now a guy throwing lefty. How's that going to kind of get the defense to.
Yeah, and I think I heard today, if I heard this correctly, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, and I do not know who their big right tackle was, but I thought the right tackle I heard today got hurt.
He's out for the year.
Yeah, so that's the blind side.
That's
so
the blind side, yeah.
That helps a little bit. Penix. The question was, did the Vikings have interest in Penix? Yes, but not to there was just things they did not like about him. And he throws the deep ball great.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get a pass rush on that kid. And he doesn't move all that well. And this should help. I mean, the Vikings with that crowd noise, as I think Dallas Turner I think he's going to finally. I'm not even worried about Dallas Turner. A lot of people are still calling him a bust.
I'm not
even close.
No.
He's too physically gifted. He's going to be something. Flores will make him work. Flores will make him work. You're going to see
the secret to that game on Sunday night is going to be Hargrave and Allen. I think more Hargrave.
Yeah.
And if the Vikings can contain the running game,
they got a new center.
The Buccaneers contain the Falcons' running game, Algier and Robinson. So if you can contain the running game, force Penix to throw it up top a lot. And the thing with the Falcons is the receivers, London and Mooney, they're kind of banged up. We'll see how they play Sunday night.
This is another thing with the Falcons, too. Their offense is still looking for their identity.
Yeah. What are they? They're power running? Are they finesse? Are they out of the backfield pass catch?
Also, when Bijan starts to warm up, they take the ball out of his hands.
Yeah.
They take him out of the offense. And so I'm kind of like, now Mooney's going to play, London's going to play. That's the only ones that can catch, because Kyle Pitts has been the biggest disappointment as far as tight ends go.
Fantasy wrecker, Kyle Pitts.
Oh, he didn't get a pass until
got me 1 year. Yeah, he got me 1 year, Kyle Pitts. Thank you.
And it's just offensively, they're still looking for an identity. Defensively, this is where, if I am KLC, you saw what Jordan Mason can do. Keep pounding him to rock.
Yeah, you got to pound him.
We're gonna let's get into that right now too, because that is our player focus, and then I'll finish up headlines as soon as we get to that. Since you brought that up, Tony, and our player focus is Jordan Mason, because there was a statistic that Score North put up today, and I will say this: it's quite impressive that Jordan Mason is able to negotiate after first contact a 3.8 yard average after that contact. I don't think the Vikings have had a running back like that in a while, who, if you hit him, he bounces and then gets almost 4 yards off it.
No, they haven't had that.
You haven't had that.
And that's what we are hoping to see on Sunday night. I want to see it a few times. I thought we had it against the Bears on Monday night, where I thought maybe the 2-point conversion would have been a time to unleash Jordan, but that was not the call. What the call was one of the worst calls of all time, trying to throw it out wide to Josh Oliver.
And not having Jefferson on the field.
Not having Jefferson on the field.
Give it to Jordan Niski. Give it to this guy. I want to see some attempts where the Vikings are moving the ball inside the goal line area, and then this guy is going to show us his talent.
This is where KOC's coaching is either going to be feast or famine, or drive us up a wall. He's got to trust his running game, and he's got to trust this revamped offensive line to get 1 or 2 yards on the inside.
And not only that, but Mason, by doing that, will also allow Aaron Jones Sr. to have less wear and tear, and that will help you get some big plays out of Aaron.
Aaron Jones will be playing a lot of wideout Sunday night.
Yeah. He'll be catching the ball, and he'll have those explosive runs, which is what you want. And Jordan can take the beating and the pounding that Aaron can't, and I think that's something that I'm really looking forward to seeing, and why he's our official Purple SKOL Squad player focus of the week. All right, back to headlines really quickly. I had to wrap this up before we go around the NFC North, gentlemen, but Ryan Clark opened his mouth again. It's not a surprise.
What did he say this time?
He likes to put his foot in it. Well, he criticized Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert. Now, I don't know. I think Justin Herbert was one of the best quarterbacks week 1, but Ryan Clark likes to remind us all how Justin Herbert hasn't won anything of importance. Well, Okay.
That's right.
Justin's been in the league for how many years now?
That's fair.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, it is sort of fair, but I think it was the criticism in which he lashed out on that then got Jim Harbaugh to respond.
Good.
Oh boy.
And Jim Harbaugh responded and said, quote, whenever he, meaning Ryan Clark, gets canned from ESPN, let him
Next
know I
year.
need a water boy position filled. So apparently the comment in which Ryan Clark stated was enough to piss Justin Herbert, our guy Jim Harbaugh off on Justin Herbert, that the coach decides, hey, there's a certain line you can go, but I'm going to defend my player. And he loves, we know he loves Justin Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a quote I couldn't let go past. Go ahead, Jim Harbaugh. You go. And let's face it, the Chargers are a team to watch in the AFC West. There's no question. They're going to be up there with, the Chiefs and the Raiders, and that division is it's going to be fantastic all year long.
Chiefs are in trouble.
Ryan Clark.
Chiefs are in trouble.
I think they are too. If they lose this week, their schedule is maybe the toughest. It's up there, but it's brutal. They almost have to beat the Eagles, almost like the Lions have to beat the Bears, which is our transition.
Can I just say one thing on Ryan Clark?
Yeah.
He's the same clown that said Brady and Peyton Manning weren't generational quarterbacks.
Yeah, well,
he
that's
just
true.
said that too. What is wrong with this clown?
He's sort of like a pot stirrer. I think he kind of.
No, I actually think.
Yeah, you know what it's called? It's called CTE.
Yeah, he's angry though. He does say it in an angry way. I can
see. What did he say?
Yeah.
Look what he did to Peter Schrager.
Yeah. Oh, you don't play. This is you don't play. And then he's like,
we
don't
understand this, Ryan, but Peter can still have an opinion.
Exactly.
Give me a break, dude. Come on, man.
Peter shot right back at him. He didn't sit.
Good. He didn't back. No, he didn't back down, which was good for him. And
I would say this.
Well, you know what, though? I'm going to be honest with you. Schrager is a clown.
I don't like.
Yeah, but you know what, Tony? He's probably.
But he has a right to an opinion.
He has a right to an opinion, but he's still a clown.
Yeah, he's probably safer though at his job than Ryan is because.
Peter, 100%.
ESPN ain't getting rid of Peter. He's got a nice deal there.
They just got Peter from the
NFL Network. Yeah.
Which now, I think ESPN runs now. So
pretty much, yeah. They're ESPN and the NFL Network. It's really ABC, ESPN control. The NFL oversees it, and they'll do whatever the NFL wants.
I will say this about the whole NFL Red Zone.
Yeah,
it wasn't changed. No commercials. It was the same as it's always been.
I thought they said that the commercials would be in the late games, maybe. So
they
I don't know.
You had to come up in the late games, and it was just one, and it was a split screen. But other than that,
because that was the fervor, Tony. That's a good point. That was the fervor that everyone was like, "You can't change this. The success of it is commercial free."
With all due respect, ESPN, everything they touch goes to shit.
I know.
Look at hockey.
And guess what? Now they got WWE, so that's going to go to the crapper.
Bill Dunkel with the strongest take of the night so far. And you know what? It's hard to argue, right?
He's right.
I mean, I don't even like the NHL coverage on there. And I love Mark Messier. I love Mark Messier, and I love Steve Levy.
Yeah.
Those guys are great. I got to work with, some of Steve Levy at ESPN, one of the nicest guys in the world, man. One of the nicest. But it's just like, I don't know. The coverage bothers me. Sean McDonough, who's really should be a baseball guy, doing or college football guy, doing the play-by-play. Ray Ferraro annoys too many people. The hockey coverage and it shouldn't be. That should be an easy one for them to
ESPN's
cover.
biggest problem is it's too commercial, and they fill it with people that are part of entertainment and not enough knowledge of the sport that they're reporting.
Well, they have PK Subban, he's the clown of the NHL coverage. He's
PK?
a pot stirrer, and he's got those outfits he puts on are Mark Messier looks at him like really? I have to sit next to you.
I look at him the same way.
PK Subban, Mr. Slewfoot himself.
I look at PK like I look at Cam.
now ESPN might be saved, gentlemen, with their NBA coverage because they're getting the crew, right? They're getting the crew.
Yeah, they got the TNT.
Best show on TV. I love Charles.
Yeah, but you didn't hear about that. They screwed that up too.
What did they do? Don't piss me off.
They're going to have these guys on opening night. I believe maybe the first week, and then they're not on again until around Christmas or after the first of the year.
So it's
And
not
then
a constant weekly show. Or are they doing something with TNT? No?
And no. And their shows are going to be a lot shorter. You know, they used to be. What did they used to be an
Like
hour
an
after?
hour. Yeah, they had an hour coverage.
No.
They were more entertaining than the games
You
themselves.
might get a half hour. That's what I've read. You might get a half hour, maybe an hour. But the bottom line, it's not going to be weekly.
Well,
And it's not going to be game.
In my
night,
opinion,
like
that sucks. Because
No,
that shows
unless
the
they
best.
change their mind. That was the report, is they'd be on opening night, maybe during the first week, and then they're not going to be on until it's either on around Christmas or after the New Year.
Wow. I don't know.
That's ESPN for you.
We'll have to see. All right, enough badgering the place where I'll be tomorrow. I'll be in Connecticut, close to the headquarters where I started my career, the great ESPN. All right.
Hey, wait, quality control interjecting. I just want to read some of our fan comments here.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's roll.
So Michael John Simcannon says he's been a season ticket holder since 1972. He says we lose this game in OT, unfortunately.
No. Ouch.
What did I say earlier?
Kind of
about
like
this?
1999, but the 1998 NFC Championship game.
They're not losing. They're not losing on Sunday.
Mike Conrad says TK would have been the QB with a complete team.
Yes.
Well,
and without the injuries. The
injuries is what did it.
Really kind of threw a wrench into his career, unfortunately.
Oh, the defense with the defense with the.
No, the defense wasn't. Yeah. Mike is right. But the injuries really hurt him.
It did.
I'm sorry.
Injuries and his problems off the field with chemical dependency.
Yeah,
that didn't help either.
Yeah, Tommy, but still, my favorite guy. Loved him,
but still.
Really drove in the
love
fact
Tommy.
I want to be a Viking fan, and I enjoyed watching him play. All right, gentlemen. Well, let's get into the time. I'm going to take a little breather here, let my voice rest, because we're going to let Tony Bell take over, and then I'll come back and do Inside the Numbers, and then we're going to have Bill's Historical Bites, so a little preview of what's coming up before we get to the point of breaking down this Falcons-Vikings week number 2 matchup. So, Tony, the floor is yours, my friend. Take over.
Okay. Vikings are going up against the second-year quarterback in Michael Penix. Same draft class as J.J. McCarthy. Came in last year, middle of the season, to try to salvage what season the Falcons had left after the whole you-know-who debacle. Here's the thing. I watched the game against the Falcons. I watched the Falcons game when they played the Buccaneers on Sunday. They are very limited on offense, and they're very limited on the offensive line, which right now fits into the Vikings defensive scheme, where you're not going to have Van Ginkel this week, which you can still make up for that, because guess what? You've got players that will step in, and one of those players will be last year's number 1 draft pick, Dallas Turner. He is going to get a ton of playing time, a ton of snaps. You're going to see him playing outside linebacker, standing up. You're going to see him playing defensive end in a 3-point stance, which is probably what they will do on Sunday night. He will flip sides with Grenard, because now remember, Penix is a left-handed quarterback. So blocking their blind side is not their usual right tackle. He's out for the year with, I believe, a ACL, McGarry. So guess what? Basically, they got somebody like we have with School at left tackle, at right tackle. So guess what? Grenard, Turner, anybody else lining up on him are going to be chomping at the bit. So don't be surprised.
So when we're looking at this actual right now, Tony Bell's X's and O's, if I was to pencil in maybe 58 or 15 to the left side, they're the far left going around, and Penix not being able to see him when they're going around. Are we saying, Tony Bell, you foresee the best defensive coordinator in football unleashing the Dragons on the left side against that banged up Falcons offensive line?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
yeah. And also Penix he can move, but he can't move. He's got two.
That's the other question I wanted to ask you on that, because you got to think that Flores in practice today probably worked on quarterback containment, because God knows, in that Chicago game, the one thing Caleb Williams did well was move through around with his feet pretty much all night long against the Vikings. In fact, I think he was the Bears'
leading rusher.
Yeah,
but
so
the difference between Caleb and Penix is Penix can't move as well, and also the interior of the Falcons' offensive line, they got a new center.
Yep.
So who are you going to line up there? I would imagine it's going to be either Jonathan Allen or Javon Hargrave, who had like 13 pressures combined. That's on Caleb. They would have had a bunch of sacks if Caleb didn't get out of trouble like he did. Penix is not going to be able to move that well.
Right. It's not going to be like Caleb Williams when he's deep.
No. Matter of fact, you'll probably see Penix as more of a sitting duck. And right now, Atlanta's looking for their identity, like I said, on offense. And I would not be surprised if, and don't be shocked, people, if Flores just unleashes all hell on Penix. And he's in a foreign visiting stadium, hostile crowd, national spotlight. It's a big game. It's basically national championship number 2 because you got J.J. McCarthy for us.
Right.
So
it's the second time these two have battled.
And McCarthy came out on top the first time, and he's going to come out on top again this time.
In fact, gentlemen, before we go inside the numbers, it's kind of interesting, right, Bill, when you look at this, if you were to think that the NFL was rigged, well, look at the first 2 weeks for the Vikings, right? J.J. McCarthy against Caleb Williams, a quarterback who was drafted ahead of him. Oh, by the way, week 2, another quarterback drafted ahead of J.J., now, I looking at advanced schedule, I don't think JJ is getting a crack at Drake May, correct? Or he's not going to get a crack at Jaden Daniels? Or no, they do play Washington.
No, he will get a crack at Jaden Daniels.
So he will have a chance to prove all these teams wrong by drafting these guys ahead of him.
Well, and he also, it's not he's younger, but he's going to get a crack at Justin Herbert his former coach.
Yeah, that's true. Jim Harbaugh. Yeah, that's going to be weird to see that matchup.
And plus, it hurts. He's got, look at the competition. Then Lamar and Jalen Hurts and even Jordan Love. So he's
got Burrow after Penix.
He's got Burrow.
He's got Rodgers.
It's wonderful in the fact because he's going to see the guys he's going to try to want to be like, right? Yeah. He's going to see the guys that are we basically call them the stars of their position at the quarterback position. And he's going to get to go up against the best of the best this year. And that does one thing, Tony and Bill. It makes you better at what you do as well. And I think that's the best thing that we're going to get to see with JJ. Okay, really quickly, and then we're going to get to Bill's historical bites. We've got our big 3. All of us will give you our big 3, which is basically going to be the preview to the Chiefs and Vikings game. And then we're going to do our picks, and then we're going to give you our final thoughts. But inside the numbers, in your mind, you can cue up the Pink Floyd song. You know what song I'm talking about, Money. The Vikings are 3.5 home favorites, and the over and under right now kind of low in my estimation, but who knows, 44.5 points. For those that believe in the money line, the Vikings are showing minus 198. Falcons right now are at plus 164. The company which we discussed that has to do a better job with their coverage, ESPN's winning percentage, Minnesota at 62%, Atlanta at 38%. And for top fantasy plays this week, as far as what's being posted for this game, for your Minnesota Vikings, you heard them at the beginning of our show talking about how great it's going to be playing at US Bank Stadium on Sunday night. Justin Jettas Jefferson, 19 points projection. And for the Atlanta Falcons, and I think Bill and Tony would agree with me on this, the guy that the Vikings absolutely have to stop, Bijan Robinson, projected with 18 points as the highest point getter projected for the Atlanta Falcons. All right, Bill, it is now your time to take over the show and a segment in which we call Sir Purple's Historical Facts, otherwise known as Bill's Bites. Bill, give us some numbers that our listeners need to be aware of.
Yeah, the Vikes are 22-12 all time, including the playoffs against the Falcons. That includes 13-5 at home. The Vikings have won the last 3 out of the past 4 meetings at home. The only blemish is 2020 when they got whipped. Kevin O'Connell's undefeated against the Falcons. And in Kevin O'Connell's 10 years so far, he's 2-1 in home openers. The only loss 2 years ago, 20-17 against Tampa in a game the Vikings should have won.
Yeah, I was at a bar. That was the bar scenario. It was at the famous bar we have out here. That is a Vikings bar, and that was fun to be at, but it's very disappointing. A very frustrating football game. Kirk threw that horrible interception.
Yep.
In the red zone. The Vikings didn't take care of any of their opportunities.
Nope.
Baker Mayfield played a mistake-free game.
We lost to Baker Mayfield before Baker Mayfield has become Baker Mayfield.
Right, exactly. That was a game I think we were favored by at least 5 points.
Yeah.
So that was a tough opening day loss.
They win that game flat. That was the Bud Grant weekend too.
That was the Bud Grant weekend. That's right, Tony.
I will say this, we beat Atlanta last year, and the Vikings were never going to lose that game because of the return of minivan. It's just that was not going to happen. But I think Tampa Bay, when we lost to them, the year before we had that miracle, those miracle wins, blah blah blah. And I think honestly the Vikings took Tampa way too lightly, and I think a lot of fans did too, including myself. But I think Atlanta's going to get their attention because I've listened to O'Connell this week. Robinson.
He's good.
Robinson.
You could argue
he's the focal point of their offense, but like I said,
4 down back.
Yeah, he's a 4 down back, but here's the problem. That's all you got.
Yeah, no, you're right. You got to stop. I mean, Penix can throw that deep ball, but boy, if you get a rush on him, what's funny is the national championship and McCarthy's the rematch again they're facing each other again, and in that game, Michigan just beat the living snot.
They did, and it wasn't. Penix threw for 255 yards in that game, right?
Yeah, but boy, did he get hit. I gained a lot of respect for Penix that game. He kept on getting up.
He was getting hit. He was getting hit a lot.
You remember who was a vocal point for Michigan besides JJ was Blake Corum. They were running the ball.
They were.
They were.
Yep.
They were
JJ in that game was just 10 for 18 for measly yards. He made a couple big plays in that game, but
because he's got a weak arm, he can't throw.
Right?
That's exactly. Colin Cowherd,
Yeah, exactly.
He can't throw.
Not going to be anything at the pro game. Yeah,
he's Mr. Handoff. He's Mr. Handoff.
Just to add to Bill's historical bites, because I just went. They're 1-1, I believe, Bill, as well in the playoffs. Correct?
Yes.
The Vikings beat them back in.
I didn't want to mention that.
30-24.
82-98.
Like the quarterback that was here, let's not mention because.
Well, I mean, again, I just got to say one thing. The January 17th.
We don't like that. Shut up.
January 17th of 99. I'll never do this again, and I haven't done it again. I made a promise after that day. I was so overconfident. While I know my friend, fellow season ticket holder Linda, as Blake and I were walking down to our seats, her and her husband Rob were there, and she turned around. She said, "Do we have anything to worry about?" I said, "Worry about? We're undefeated at home. We're the better team. The noise factor." Yeah. And I said, "They're not going to lose this game."
No, they hadn't lost at home all year. I don't.
But again, I could, and that I honestly would love to do down the road, okay, just a show on memorable games, because that one, even though they lost, there were so many times they should have won that football game.
Hey, Rome McCarthy, calm down there, Rome McCarthy. We're gonna get to you in a moment.
Go ahead. Yeah, Rome. Rome's the big guy.
I haven't forgotten about you. You're still in our notes. I'm gonna get to you here in just a moment.
Rome's the big guy right now.
That's the future great McCarthy. He's got a long ways to go before he gets where his dad is right now. And also another thing, Bill, the Vikings do like playing the Falcons. We might be a little overconfident because actually going back since 2014, just to add, they've won 6 out of the last 7. So
then we'll go back that far.
We've always had the Falcons number.
We have.
I mean, the first time we ever played them, we lost to them, but that was because, back to historical, Van Broecklyn and Tarkington were already into it, and Van Broecklyn, out of spite, benched Tarkington for Bob Berry in that game.
Little Bob Berry.
So
who was another former Falcon.
He went to the Falcons.
Just because we used to do this, gentlemen, who was your favorite former Falcon? I remember we used to do this. Maybe
Steve Bartkowski.
Yeah, he was good. William
Maybe
Andrews.
former Falcon.
Alfred Jenkins was
I like
fun to
Alfred.
watch.
William
Yeah,
Andrews, I like.
You
I
guys
like
are
William
so
Andrews.
offense. You guys are so offense. It's
Are you
ridiculous.
going? Let me guess where you're going to go.
Oh, the Blitz Grits.
Chris
No, it's,
Dolman.
you
Chris
gotta
Dolman.
go. You gotta go with either on defense. It's got to be Tommy Nobis or Claude Humphrey.
Yeah,
Tommy Nobis.
Claude
Yeah.
Humphrey.
Claude
I
Humphrey was
like
a great
Mr.
player.
Van Note.
And
Van
he
Note, I like.
Yeah, and
went
Jeff Van Note.
Super Bowl with the Eagles,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Yeah, he
Claude
did.
make
Yeah.
the Super Bowl with the Eagles. I think he did.
Yeah.
At the
He
tail end.
he got into a contract dispute with the Falcons and ended up being traded to the Eagles. You know, a former Viking finished his career in Atlanta.
Well, our guy Chris Dolman, we know that, right? No,
No,
he didn't
Dolman-
finish it there.
He came back.
He came
was
back,
John
and
Gilliam.
then, but he was there. Yeah,
Yeah.
Johnny. Yeah,
It was John Gilliam. He spent a
Smooth.
year down there.
Son
Yep.
Gilliam,
Mr. Smooth,
great
yeah.
names from the past. All right, let's get back to around the NFC North. We have to do it. We have to do it.
No, we don't. We do not have
Had a game last night.
We do not have to talk
Devastating
about
game.
you. Of course, you want to talk about it because you're a traitor.
Yes, the NFC North future champion, Green Bay Packers, dominated
Yeah.
another team at home, and they beat up on the Washington Commanders, literally, because sadly in that game, gentlemen, Austin Eckler, again, we got to talk about this, that damn Lambeau Field.
He's
Not
like
another
the third player that I've seen. We lost Brian O'Neill
Yep.
and we lost you know who.
Kirk Cousins, yeah.
And then
Minivan,
this
yep.
year it's Austin Eckler. All he did was just move.
Just
Yep.
move.
And he blows an Achilles.
Fortunately, Austin's 30 years old. He's sort of on the tail end of his career. Want to wish you well, Austin.
That's a big
And
loss.
you know what? That's
Running
probably
back is
the
one of
worst. That's
Yeah.
the worst injury to have now at that age.
No
Yeah.
doubt. No doubt. There is a game in this fine division where two teams will knock it. One of them will knock the other team to an 0-2 record. The other team will be 1-1. That being the Chicago Bears at 0-1, with Ben Johnson returning to
I think
Detroit
the Bears are winning that game.
to take on the Detroit
I think-
Lions. You know
I
what?
think the Bears are going to win it too.
They're going to win
I
it for
know,
Ben
right?
Johnson.
I have a weird feeling that the Bears might win that game, and then
I'm going to tell you
Detroit
something.
Lions.
They're going to win it for the coach.
Green Bay exposed Detroit in week 1.
Yeah, they did.
They exposed them. Ben Johnson already knows that Lions team because they didn't make any changes. It's basically the same team that's been there when he was there. He knows how to play defense on that team. So, he knows what works and what won't. Dan Campbell, you could see this could be the beginning of the end of his tenure in Detroit.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to imagine, right? With all, I mean, it's almost unfathomable. But then again, you lose all your coordinators, and they lost more coaches on the staff. You lose your interior of offensive line. It doesn't take much.
For historical purposes, people, anybody that has been a Viking fan for years, like us, knows this as factual. The Lions will have 2 or 3 good years where they're competitive and at the top of the league, and then the next thing you know,
They fall off the cliff.
or something happens, and all of a sudden they go down like the Titanic.
You know what it kind of reminded me of, like, Bill and Tony, to kind of put it in Vikings terms? The year after, I believe, what was it? The year after they made the NFC Championship game against the Redskins with Jerry Burns, we all were thinking Super Bowl, right? And that 88 team, was that the team?
That was a good football team.
That was a
That
good
was a good
football team. We had the number 1 defense.
But what team disappointed? There was a Jerry Burns team that disappointed
1990.
1990. That was a team, when you looked at it on paper, you were like, oh, yeah.
Well, you lost Millard, which was the biggest shot to the defense, losing him, and Wade Wilson got hurt again. They cut Tommy Crane.
Tommy took turns at being hurt. Yeah. No
so
doubt.
you had to go with Rich Gannon, but I mean, it only takes like an injury or two or to change things. With Detroit, Bill will tell you, Bill can attest to this. With Detroit, it seems like they did it with Billy Sims. They had looked like they were going to be the top team in the league, and they fell off. In the 70s, they were always that team that was going to beat the Vikings for the NFC Central.
Yeah.
But guess what? They fell off. And
remember
then
1980, they were supposed to.
1980, they were
hot. They were
3 games ahead of the Vikings in 1980. And they came up here and got shut out.
They got
That was a
slaughtered
downfall.
up here.
Yeah, that was the downfall. And then again with Barry Sanders, same thing.
Yeah. I mean, they had Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson.
Hey, by the way, the Packers had a big injury last night too. Mr. Reed broke his collarbone.
Yes, he did.
They said he'll be back in November.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, that's still
a big
loss.
loss. He's
and he's on somebody's fantasy team too.
He's a good player.
By the way, where's Christian Watson?
Hurt. They signed him to an extension 1 year.
He's so far forgotten about. Well, that makes me feel a little bit better because that was
that whole trade now is just
that doesn't look so bad. I guess
no,
it's bad. No, actually, it's bad for both teams. But at least he didn't turn out to be something that would have made that trade look really embarrassing for Kwesi. Yeah. So, all right, in our last look around the NFC North, this gentleman in his first start as the Vikings NFL quarterback was awarded it's kind of a little shocking because I didn't know if his stats were going to get him there, but he was awarded, as Tony Bell posted on our page, the NFC Offensive Player of the Week award. And JJ took to the podium at his presser, and this is what he said about winning that award.
A little surprised, but, at the end of the day, Monday Night Football, it's a tremendous win we got, but that's a team award. I don't look at that as an individual award at all. Defense kept us in it the whole game and found a way to bounce back offensively. So, yeah, it's great and all, but, it's on to the next one.
That was a Joe Cap statement.
Yeah, he gets it. This kid gets it.
That was a Joe Cap statement right there. That's what leaders say.
Yeah.
Now, as an award, as a true award of that, because JJ was really busy this week, because on Thursday it was reported he wasn't at practice because his beautiful bride-to-be, Katia, I think her name, Katia, a little busy. They were creating a baby, and
they did that while he was hurt last year. Now
they did it last year, right? They did it last year. But little Rome McCarthy is in this world, and how about that? Daddy already won you a Player of the Week award. Now he's got to win a Super Bowl in the year that you're born. And there's little Rome McCarthy.
There he is.
Now, here's the thing, gentlemen, and I told this to my wife, and she almost left me in the room. Now, this is a lot of pressure on Katia because you've got to take care of Romy because JJ's going to need to get his sleep. There can be no changing of the diapers because his arm can't any injury. No, Romy, calm down. Calm down, Romy. No, she's going to have to be a true MVP to hopefully at least the second week of February. And then starting in March, JJ, you get to change all the diapers and you're probably going to have little Romy for a while. But
he'll probably see he needs to go on vacation.
Yeah, exactly, right? But Viking fans, there he is, the newest Viking fan, Romy McCarthy, whose daddy won Player of the Week in his first week that's pretty amazing. It's a pretty amazing week, right? Yeah, seriously, that's a championship week for JJ. So
how much you want to bet that kid grows up and is a hockey player?
Yeah, I think probably, right? JJ's always wanted to be a hockey player.
Say, can I add something about, I don't know if you guys listened to that. That was one of the best shows that I've listened to on Score North.
Oh, yes. I did get to
Greg Holcomb.
Yeah.
And the insight that his parents and JJ and the whole family wanted him in Minnesota. They were praying.
And then what was amazing.
And Holcomb, by the way, is awesome. What a guest that guy
is. That JJ in his system, because a lot of people don't know this about JJ. JJ was pretty much almost a manic depressive. He had many depressive states, and he had to learn how to control that. And as you'll see JJ meditate, and that meditation is something to get himself mentally right, and then he becomes a warrior, and we see what he does on a football field. But JJ's always made it a point to get to know reporters' names way back. Back when, right?
He knows them.
This process that you've seen is something that it started at a very young age from respect. Respect to other people.
That's how he's raised too.
How he was raised. Yeah. And you notice like JJ, and granted, it could change as he gets to be more of a star, so to speak. But he promised a young man an autograph on Monday night. And when he was coming off the field, you saw him and he's like this. He's like, yeah, right? And the kid reminded him, and he's like, and he pointed right up to him, stop. And it was the only autograph he signed because the Vikings PR pulled him. But he made sure he lived up to his word. And little things like that, the character, and that was a fascinating interview, and it is on our site, thanks to Bill. Go listen to it because his high school coach tells you a lot about what this man is. And it's another reason why we're going to root for him, because you want to see someone like that succeed, Tony and Bill.
He's been with them, since 7th grade?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And I'll also tell you with the tenacity in which all this war paint, this war paint for JJ, it is a mindset. It is a mindset, and he showed it. I don't know if you guys saw some of the clips. We all saw the nice JJ, Pat and this and that. There's clips that they found that they had to beep out when he was in the huddle, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of like what Tom Brady did. Yeah, that he's a fierce competitor, as he told his coach Kevin O'Connell. Coach, after his coach was all worried about him, he said, "Coach, I don't fear anything." And you know what? I don't think he does. And I'm going to love.
He brings a different mindset to this team. He's not that we had to listen to, I got to go back and look at the film. And
wait a minute.
Everything was sweet.
Wait a minute.
Orchestrated.
Who was that guy that had to have Tuesdays off?
Huh?
The same guy that needed to look at the film and make sure that it was there. And we'll work on it in practice.
Got to improve on these things. And
the guy who had the deer in the headlights look?
Yeah, that didn't know any of the reporters' names.
The quarterback who shall remain nameless.
Minivan?
Yes. Let's just describe them as minivan. All right, gentlemen, it is now time for our big three and our predictions, and then we'll get our final thoughts in there. Number one, big three for me, and I think we've already mentioned it, gentlemen, and you'll probably agree with me, so it'll be a short one, is got to stop Bijan. Got to stop Bijan. As a receiver, you got to smack him, get the ball out of his hands, force Penix to go to his other players, and do what the Buccaneers did. Don't let him get started running the ball. That was a phenomenal job Tampa Bay did shutting down anyone that Atlanta had in the backfield, including Tyler Algier. They were not letting the Falcons run the ball. Now, the Falcons did pass the ball quite well, but would you agree with me? Is that your number one big three for this game? Or if you want to mix it up,
No, I would.
My number one is to
big one.
Take Bijan out of the offense, period, and make Penix have to move the ball around. Here's another thing, too. As much as we talk about Bijan has a fumble problem.
Yeah.
He will drop the ball at the drop of a hat.
Yeah,
so that's one. The second one for me was run the ball, run it up the gut.
Give it to our player focus. Let Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones Sr.
And just as a scouting report for what I saw against Tampa Bay, that defense of the Falcons still needs a lot of work. They're missing Grady Jarrett and a couple of other players. So pound the rock. And third, this applies to you, Bill. That crowd's got to be into it Sunday night. Make life miserable for Penix. Make him get a few false starts, but also make him burn their timeouts. Just make life miserable for him.
Yeah, I agree with all those. The one I would add is, I think the Vikings. We know about McCarthy needing, but I think Adam Thielen needs to be better, because I think that's going to.
I was going to bring that up. Guess who's covering Adam? Guess who's covering Adam on Sunday?
Who is?
Does the name Mike Hughes ring a bell?
Oh, yes!
All 5'8".
Thank you, God. There's a way to get healthy, right? It's like if you're a defensive lineman, you look at one of our ex-guys, Garrett Bradbury, if you're playing the Patriots, I'm going to be getting in the backfield and hitting the quarterback.
Yeah, it's Mike. I don't even know who their top corner is. I forget who it is, but their top corner is going to be on Jefferson.
Yeah, good luck.
But Hughes is going to be on Thielen.
Well, that was one of my big three, too, is Jettis has got to get off. Like, he's got to make up for what we will say for him is a C-level performance. Last week, he did have the nice touchdown catch with JJ.
And he usually doesn't have two bad games in a row.
No, and he had a couple of heinous drops. I think this game, Jettis, and I'm just going to throw it out there, and it will be 9 catches for 150. and a
I could see that.
touchdown. I could see that very,
I
very
can see 8 for 105,
Yeah,
110.
he's going to make some plays.
Oh, go ahead. I got an underrated one, but go ahead.
No, I want to hear it. I'm done. It's your
Well, I want to see the head coach have this team ready at the start.
That would help.
start. Yeah, unlike last.
Come out with the fire in the belly.
You know, by the way, people, it's not just that this team comes out. I'm not trying to be negative, but they have a history with him as head coach, and these are facts. I know sometimes people don't want to hear facts. This team has come out flat at home also. We know this, and it's been every year.
Yeah.
Well, it's like they play down to their competition.
Yeah, and I think that's going to happen Sunday night? No, but and Tony knows he played. The team brings on the personality of the head coach during that particular week. If the coach is nervous, and Tony can correct me, and uptight, the team's probably gonna be nervous and uptight, right? Am I wrong?
You sense it.
Yeah.
If your coach is hesitant, and if he's kind of hemming and hawing about things, as a team, you're like, okay, we're gonna go out there, but this.
No, I did sense a little bit of a change with him in Chicago, which was a welcoming change.
He got ramped up, man. That was
good. That was good.
But it took him 3 quarters to open up that up.
Well, I mean, he didn't have much to get ramped up about other than trying to console players and say, "Hey, we've got to pick it up." You know.
Well, is he going to take the gloves off the kid?
He should.
Well, that was something we talked about, right? He simplified it. Let JJ be JJ, and good things will happen. I mean, wherever JJ's gone, that's the other statistic. JJ's been behind a center or a quarterback for over 70 games now. Do you know how many games he's lost in 70 games? This is like ridiculous.
3.
Thank you. 3. 67-3 is a pretty good win.
But he just hands the ball.
Just let him be him. Don't screw it up.
This is going to be a big one too. He played under center a lot Monday night.
Yeah, I did.
I wonder if he's going to be in pistol formation a lot more Sunday night.
I want to see some RPO. I want to see.
I think
Phillips and O'Connell kind of use his athleticism and cause defense.
You know what? Don't even put Phillips in there. It's O'Connell.
Right. I know, but I'm just saying Phillips can propose it, and then
he'll be told to go get the coffee and donuts and mind your business.
All right, gentlemen. So with that being said, it's time to put our reputations on the line here. We all got wins with Chicago. Thankfully, to JJ McCarthy, we all covered.
I did say 20. I said 28 to something. Did I say 28 to 17?
No, you said 38-17.
I said 28-17.
You said 28
for last week's game.
Oh, last week. Okay.
And then they got that garbage touchdown. So
you were close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had 27-17, and then that late touchdown.
I can't remember what the hell I had.
That late touchdown curbed my perfection, but, maybe they'll work on it this week. So, gentlemen, I have 31-20 Minnesota, and I also have, as you already heard, Jetta's having a big game with a touchdown, but I also have Jordan Mason scoring twice inside the 5-yard line, and then we're going to be extremely ecstatic talking about this on Sunday night when those predictions come right, because I have a good feeling about it. I have a feeling for Thielen as well. Thielen will create some space, have over 4 receptions. But basically, Tony, you're going to smile. The Vikings defense and the running game are going to be the key in a 31-20 game.
Okay.
Bill Dunkel, what do you got for us?
Well, you know what I said earlier.
Oh, no. You're the guy who picked him to win the Super Bowl. There's no way.
I know I did, but this team is beat up, man. This team is really beat up. But I remember I said at Showtime I'd give you, but I was worried. I was leaning Atlanta because they're so beat up. And I don't like the Darisaw thing because now school's going to get schooled again.
He has nobody lining up on him. He'll be fine.
I hope so.
He'll be fine.
This will test their depth big time, but they are deeper this time. They have to win this game again because not just the home opener, because that upcoming schedule. I mean, be real. I mean, next week's going to be tough, and Pittsburgh, Cleveland, they'll beat Pittsburgh, man. But then you got Philly and the Chargers and Baltimore. I'll go. Last year it was a blowout at the end. This year it's going to be 23-21. on a Will Reichert 47-yarder at the gun. To win
Wow.
it.
So Vikings game-winning field goal, doing something that they've had a hard time doing back in.
And Adam Thielen, 2 touchdowns.
Beautiful. So we're all going Vikings again. All right. Exactly.
I didn't give mine.
Oh, give a score. Give a score.
Thanks.
Oh, no, I thought you did. I thought you said
No, I didn't.
Hello, Ricky. You there?
The floor is yours. Fine.
Oh, ye of little faith.
Better not be. Although you might want to say it because then it might actually get you in the good graces with your.
She's not watching this yet. She'll watch it after the game.
Because we're live, everybody. We are live, so there's no going back on this.
All right. Here's what's going to happen. Viking defense will play up to their standard of being one of the best defenses in the league.
Yep.
This defense is going to get 7 sacks on Michael Penix.
Woo!
Dallas Turner is going to have 2. Hargrave and Allen will both have a sack each. Jonathan Grenard is going to have 3.
Wow. So there's your player of the game already, I would assume.
Vikings will run the ball. It'll be old school smash mouth football on the Vikings part. Final score. Minnesota Vikings in their throwback classic uniforms.
Can't wait to see that.
38. The Atlanta Falcons 17.
All right. So I did have it. Then I'm Nostradamus because I could have sworn you said that.
I put it in the text.
All right, so there you go. 38-17. Bill, once again, your score again on the game-winning field goal?
23-21, and I'll be wearing Fran Tarkenton purple.
There you go.
On Sunday night.
I'll be stuck
at the game.
Wi-Fi works. I'll be watching the game on my phone.
By the way,
143.
I'm going to tell you something right now. I think we all can agree with it. If they chose to make these throwbacks their permanent uniforms, I would not complain.
No, I would. I think we all are.
I would rather see.
I mean, I'd rather see the 1970s, but I'll take this over the stuff they got now. I'll say that 100%.
Yeah,
gentlemen. Before I get in my final thoughts, any final thoughts on what's coming up? Your thoughts already on what we've seen. Anything in the future? Because we do know the schedule is going to get tougher after they return from Europe.
Stay healthy.
It's now imperative that these guys stay healthy. The whole Darisaw thing bothers me.
I think it's coming back after the bye week.
I would think so too. Yeah. But just from watching him in the pregame, and I know that field was bad in Chicago, but something tells me he'll be back, like you said, Bill, after the bye.
Well,
here's the thing with that too. If the Vikings keep winning, there's no rush, right? And
that's the thing too.
That's another thing.
I don't want them to think that they're overconfident to the fact that, because I think we're all pretty confident that, hey, we got enough talent, and you know what? We can just go easy in the beginning of the year.
Also, by the way, if it's not working out with school,
I was just going to bring this up.
in there.
Yes,
I want to see the kid play.
Yeah.
Walter Rouse, I thought he was impressive as far as what I read.
He's got the quick feet.
Yeah.
I don't get it. He's got to be better than school. I mean, let's be serious.
God.
Come on. He's got to be. But for whatever reason, the Vikings want to go with the veteran.
Well, the vet.
It's a vet, yeah.
All right, gentlemen.
But you know what? With that vet, he played right tackle from what I heard last year. He's playing left this year.
So we will see about if the school is out on Justin on Sunday or not. Let's hope it's not. Let's hope he has a bounce back game. But my final thought's pretty simple. Enjoy the newness smell of what's behind center for your Minnesota Vikings football team. Mm-hmm. Because I'm going to mention these names. So just soak this in just for a moment if you have any doubts.
I hope you have Spurgeon.
JJ's already accomplished in one game. Sure, the first 3 quarters we were panicked. Sure, we read on social media, my God, the Vikings are going to have to draft another quarterback this year. This guy stinks.
Oh, my God.
I was here. There was a lot of that on social media.
There was a lot of that. There was that gentleman who watches does a show with us was on that post bandwagon saying
he probably wanted mini.
The other co-host who shall remain nameless.
Will remain nameless, Tory Holt. All right. So with that, no, we don't like that discussion.
No, we don't like.
He even saw the light, and we should all see the light because that new Ferrari we have behind center is a Ferrari that doesn't lose in races. And here are the names in which this gentleman is already in equal groups on what they did in their first start. Steve Young, Hall of Famer. Fran Tarkenton, Sir Francis, Bill Dunkel's favorite quarterback.
Yep.
J.J. McCarthy equaled what Francis did in his first game. How?
It's the same team.
That's the same team.
Same.
It's the
And,
same
oh,
team.
by the way, Tommy Kramer, who my favorite quarterback, having what, 3 fourth quarter scores to lead the Vikings back? Well, guess what?
He threw 4 altogether that game.
Altogether, but 3 in the fourth. What did
Yeah,
JJ
3 in the
do?
fourth quarter.
3 in the fourth quarter. Kramer, Tarkenton, Steve Young. Yes, those guys are tremendous players. And this new Ferrari, okay, has already attained that. And yes, we could have panicked. And yes, you'll see J.J. McCarthy. You can go back to his college career. Bill Dunkel already approved. Right, there's a great picture. Was he statistically great in that matchup with Michael Penix?
Nope.
No. But did his team win by double-digit points? Yes.
In the end, he got the W. That's all that matters.
That's all that
He
matters.
got the ring.
He will adapt to what is in front of him. He has already won his team over. I have never seen a Vikings locker room where all the offensive linemen and all the guys were so smiling ear to ear when JJ came to take a game ball from Kevin O'Connell. And did you see JJ's eyes? You could see it in somebody's eyes. You could see it. There's a look that JJ made after the third touchdown he scored. They're comparing it to Kobe Bryant. He looked like this. He was like this. In his mind, it's about winning. And that's all that matters to me. It's all that matters to Tony Bell. It's all that matters to Sir Purple, Bill Dunkel. And it should be what matters to you watching this show. J.J. McCarthy is a born winner. We have finally gotten, hopefully with no injuries, we did have to suffer that last year, but finally we have gotten the guy we have all asked for. And it was one game in, and I can't help smiling when I see stories about this. I can't, you know what it is too, guys, and you feel the same way? When he talks, it's refreshing.
Yep.
You like this guy.
Yeah,
like,
that's a change.
him. There's no arrogance about him. There's no sense of entitlement with him. There's no going around thinking I'm better than you until he puts the war paint on, until he puts the helmet on, and the only thing he's thinking about is being better than the team that's across from him and having more points at the end. He doesn't care what his stats are. He cares about winning. And that is exciting all in its own for Tony Bell, for Sir Purple, Bill Dunkel. Torrey Holt, from what I understand, will be with us on Sunday night. I will try to make it work from my old dwelling, maybe from my old room, which my nephew now owns, but he's at school, so I'll be staying in his room on Sunday night. So that was actually literally the room where I cried many tears as a young man watching the Vikings play football. I will do the post-game show from there. I look forward to hearing from all of you. Enjoy the site. And gentlemen, what do we have to say when we say goodbye? We say,
Skol.
Skol.
Thanks for watching our official Purple SKOL Squad show for Minnesota Vikings fans. Remember to tell your friends about us and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The boys will be back after the game Sunday night for the post-game wrap-up show. See you next time. Skol!